feel that it's been really good for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the Indian context and the culture there, it doesn't allow you enough to question things, right? Uh, Especially as a kid, you're asked to accept things the way they are.
Yes, yeah.
There is one thing which I've seen change for both our kids,
Mm-hmm.
where they've started to question, and
Mm-hmm.
perhaps as Indian parents we say like, why you ask so many questions? But I think it's good for them.
It's good for
They
them.
develop opinions, they develop perspectives much sooner. They are encouraged to speak up.
Hi Madhukar, how are you?
That's wonderful.
All good?
Okay.
Holiday season is started now. We're all looking forward to that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yes.
This is the time of the year you wait for.
This is the best time of the year. Hi Meenal, how are you?
I'm doing good.
All
Sajna.
good?
Yeah.
Okay, all good. Kids are going to be home soon, like your daughter is going to be home soon,
Yes.
right?
in
So looking
10
forward
days.
to that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, so we've met many times and, we've talked about families and growing families. I know that you guys came to US when your kids were a little like older, like not like about 8 to 10 years range, right? So how was it settling down with a growing family, like into a new country? And what were your challenges, as soon as you entered, you landed here, now what to do? So
Yeah, my
how
son
did-
was 6 at that time, and he was just starting first grade, so pretty much really starting school out here. Daughter
Okay.
was 10. So
Okay.
I was a little worried about her only because she was older and coming into an entirely new
Mhm.
school system, etc. That in terms of general overall settling, I would say it's not too difficult. Things are very easy to manage.
Easy to
here,
manage, yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
I would say that anybody who goes back from here, they have a harder time in India because
Because it's fast moving.
Yeah, there's so much randomness, and just getting the things done is harder. So that way,
It's-
just setting up the house. Of course, we came with nothing. We didn't bring
So
only suitcases.
that must have been fun for her, shopping.
Yeah, it was like starting your grihasti all over
All
again,
over again.
after so many years. So that was, I think, it was interesting, exciting, and a growing part of being a family together, figuring
Yes.
out how to get things,
Figuring out
do
together.
things. Big difference is that the amount of help you have here versus there, right? And otherwise.
That's always a challenge.
Yeah.
We were so spoiled with all the help at home.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah. So that, and I think for me, school was the main thing.
Yes.
making sure that the kids settle into the system and they like it here. So with both my children, I think they of course every child has their own personality, so it was slightly
It was totally-
different
Yes,
things,
yeah.
issues to handle with both of them. But loved it, I'm glad that they came while they were in elementary school because the teachers are also so involved.
Involved, yeah.
They involve you as parents also, unlike in India. You'll have one parents-teachers meeting maybe
Just
once in
once a
6
year.
months, and that's it. You won't
Oh.
ever see
Oh,
the
yeah, once
teacher
every
again.
semester.
Yeah,
Yeah.
irrespective of what age the kids are, right? So the school helped, the teachers
It helped.
helped a lot for the kids to
So
settle in.
transition, according to you, was easier in terms of the kids part, but settling down and पूरा घर में सब खरीदना विदना, that was also fun.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
So what about you, Madhukar? What was there any challenge coming here and settling down?
I guess there were many. Once you look back, as Meenal said, it was a bit of a reset for all of us, right? We were quite happy in Bangalore, kind of settled in, and then opportunities come, you move. It's a bit of a reset in many ways. Like when you come here, it's a start from the very beginning, right? What you have in India doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're here. So it was partly that. It was a reset for Meenal, as she was saying. starting the household with
And
nothing,
then with nothing.
right? And for
And
the
you
kids,
had to pay for those credit cards. I'm just joking.
yeah, no, I mean it's as I said, I mean, whatever you have in India, one, it's difficult to bring it here.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's a new
And
chapter.
So you're
right?
starting from ground zero.
Nothing. Yes, yeah.
And harder for the kids too, right? Like you're quite used to speaking half the time in Hindi at school and with friends, and they have to make new friends, new
Yeah.
beginnings, learn new ways of life.
Mm-hmm.
And it was also slightly different for me at work, right? In India, things get done through a lot of relationships, right? Here it's very different, right? You build relationships much later.
Yes,
First you have
it
to
takes
get
time,
done.
right?
I think it was a bit of a reset, and of course, driving on the wrong side of the road.
Oh yeah, that is
Not easy. So it was a combination of all of that, I would say. So
Yeah.
it took us a few years to hit our stride, get used to how things work. We have, of course, a lot of fun stories or funny stories of how we do not, at least me, I did not fully understand the culture, and I was kind of half assuming
Maybe you
things
can
work.
share some of them.
Oh yeah, happy to. But as I said, reset.
Yeah.
But I think it was a great move. Kids are settled in. In hindsight, it looks like a good decision.
Yes.
There are pros and cons to everything. You miss a lot of family and Indian values
Yeah.
when you are here. There's limited scope and time to imbibe those in your kids.
Yes. Yeah.
But we can strive to do what we can. I
Yeah,
think in
that
a
is
nutshell,
true.
this is how I feel.
Yeah. No, that is, and I think you came at the right time because at least the kids had the language. Because half the time people are struggling with the language. I feel like, oh, the kids are not speaking in Hindi. So they had already had that, and after that, once you're in this system, for them changing into English is easier, right? The hard part was for me. I remember telling them to speak in Hindi was a hard part, because they always, even in schools and everywhere is English, right? And you also tend to get the lazy route. Okay, it's okay. Let them speak in whatever language.
Yeah.
So okay, and then so settling down, obviously 10-year-old. So this school start becoming strong then, right? Like
Yeah.
teenager especially, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And at that time she was a much quieter child also, so I was wanted to make sure she was getting integrated into the
That's
system
true.
well
Yeah.
and all that. So but yeah, it was it wasn't too bad. I did stay very involved with their school, especially the very first year.
Yeah.
Volunteering in the school, getting to know more of the teachers.
Okay.
And, going helping out in the classrooms, all the everything as
Okay. So that way you understood what was.
what was happening.
Opening.
Otherwise,
That was opening.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. And you were just talking about English and Hindi. My son had the reverse problem because obviously when he came, he was speaking much more of Hindi.
That's what
So I had to I was worried that he would not be able to communicate in school because he English, he knew
Yeah,
English of
he knew,
course, but he
yeah.
was constantly talking in English. So it did take, but once
they're just, it's easy for them.
There was this
Just-
funny story, I was referring to. When we came here, the first few months, we came in the summers,
During
right?
summer
when the school
vacation.
was
Okay.
off. So, I mean, we would sit down, she would sit down with her and say, read English, speak in English, getting used to. So 3 months we were after him. And then 6 months into the school, we realized that, hey, he's only speaking in English and not even a bit of Hindi. After 6 months, we started telling him,
now we have to talk in Hindi.
talk in Hindi. So and then the 7th month, he looks at us very angrily and he says, can you please decide what I should be doing?
I know that is so true.
First you said English, and now you're saying Hindi.
Yeah, that balance is very hard,
Yeah.
So, and as you said, Madhuka, when you said missing India and its values, that is so true. When you're away from home, when you're at home, you just accept it, but you're away from home, you miss it so bad. Because if you stay in a country for you were born and everything, like the whole environment is different, right? It's quieter here rather than in India. It's crowded everywhere, you
That's
know.
right.
So you miss the crowd.
And it's
Is that
yeah, apart from just the crowd, I feel because you're in India, the children also learn to interact with all kinds of, because you have so many relatives
Mhm.
around you,
Yeah.
they will be visiting, it could be uncles, aunts,
Yeah.
grandparents, cousins. So there's the
Neighbors
kind of,
also.
kind
Yeah.
of, exactly, neighbors also,
Any people come anytime.
Yeah,
Just knock on
yeah.
the door and come, right?
Exactly, you
Yeah.
don't have to really do
Plan.
play dates, right?
Yeah.
or meet,
Plan out.
plan
things.
out and do. So people, I think that children also learn to interact a lot more with
Naturally.
with all sorts of people, which is missing here, right?
That
Because
is true.
all you have is you do have friends and all, but you will meet only,
Focused
Focus.
age group is together.
Exactly.
It's not like
age group. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the difference I felt.
Yeah.
That they don't have cousins, they don't have aunts, uncles, they don't have grandparents. Of people of all ages. So
Oh, that's so
that
true.
interaction that they're missing apart, and so that's why you don't have to teach the culture too much, right? Because
'cause
everybody is you're meeting
Yeah.
so many people, you're learning from not just us, from all people
Yes.
around you. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is so important what you said, because here kids are learning just from us. So it's stressful sometimes. What if I forget to teach them this?
Yeah.
Because there is like they're learning from everywhere, right? So if you miss a lesson, they learn it from either grandma or auntie or So I always feel that is something that it becomes as a parent a responsibility. Our responsibility is more here, that way. You were visiting every year. You guys were like visit every year, every second year, or something like that. Did you
Actually,
visit?
surprisingly, no, not that often, because
Okay.
our parents used to come,
Okay,
visit us
alright.
every
So-
year. So
So that way at least you met them.
happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for around 4 years, I moved to a team,
Okay.
which within Google, which was doing work for the emerging market, especially India.
Okay.
So
Used
I
to
had a
go.
lot more context because I was the latest import here.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
I moved there, plus also a bit separately. It allowed me to travel more frequently to that side of the world, and
So you could meet your
I
family
would,
there.
at least I would probably
Yeah.
be there 3 times in a year.
Oh wow. Then there's
So there was some connectivity, but with family and as a family we traveled a lot less because, as Meena was saying, that
Yeah.
grandparents would be here, so we probably didn't have to do as much.
There's so much you can do with your time, right? The
Right.
scope and time that you have with the kids. And the summer vacations is always activities planned out for kids and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And that is the case. And your sibling was local, so it was still easier, right? So your brother's local, so it's easier too. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's the challenge, settling down, and I think that's something standard. Like everybody is like, okay, how do you? The language is like this. The kids are like either this way or that way. There's no middle place. Was food an issue, or was it easy always, cooking and everything, or did Madhukar help a lot?
I would say in that particular area, I probably learned the most and changed the most. I would say, right? I think in India you have a lot of help.
Oh yes,
You don't
yeah.
really need to step inside the kitchen. Everything else. That's as a
Oh yes,
and
yeah.
as a guy, I would never had to do that. Just not a proud thing to say, but that's how.
But that's how the culture
the
is.
culture
yeah.
was, and
Yeah.
plus you had a lot of help to do that.
You always feel like you're giving employment to more people that way.
Yes,
Yeah.
but here once I moved here, I mean the old horse had to learn dog.
Even I had to learn.
Oh, yeah.
From the minute I got married, first thing I did is have a cook, keep a cook in India.
Yeah.
So always had
Yeah.
cooks. I did cook only when I feel like it,
yeah,
right? Something
by choice,
special,
not
by
by-
choice. Yeah.
yeah.
But I didn't have to fix an entire meal and all that.
Yeah.
So that's something both
Yes.
of us had to do a lot more out here.
Yeah.
Mm.
And setting up the kitchen and having the right spices, jo masala. Sometimes we don't even know all this stuff that our moms used to use, right? So that was always a challenge, at least for me also. It doesn't taste that good. It's because it's different. I'm using not the same stuff. Yeah. So, so now that, looking back at, the last, 10 years or so, more 10
about
to,
9 years.
So did you ever feel like, oh yeah, that was a good choice, we made the right choice, this was a perfect,
I kind of feel that it's been very good for the kids. I think in the Indian context and the culture there, it doesn't allow you enough to question things, right? Especially as a kid, you're asked to accept things the way
Yes, yeah.
they are. There is one thing which I've seen change for both our kids,
Mm-hmm.
that they've started to question, and
Mm-hmm.
perhaps as Indian parents we say like, why you ask so many questions? But I think it's good for them.
It's good for
They
them.
develop opinions, they develop perspectives much sooner. They are encouraged to speak up, ask
The
questions.
environment is
The
very...
environment is different. I think I'm really happy about how my daughter, the younger kid, has changed. She was a quiet kid as me.
Yeah, like I said earlier,
Back in India.
we've seen that transformation
Right.
in her. And I believe it is the system, just being here.
So it's more about giving opportunities, allowing kids to be what they do not discriminate much. But unlike in India, where there's a lot
Yes.
more in terms of sports,
Everything,
in terms of
yeah.
opportunities. I think Mihika has changed a lot. Misha has changed a lot, and that for the better. She's opened up. She's smarter. She's turned out to be a great
they
person
were free
itself.
will and they, they
Right.
think
And the other
independently.
part is more in terms of opportunities, right? India is opening up, but still there are fewer directions in which you can go and be successful, or how you want to measure it. Here there are a lot more opportunities
Yes,
for the
yeah.
kids to expand into change directions. This country probably accepts not doing it right the first time and then trying again.
And that's okay.
And that's
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Right? I
Yeah.
think that way it feels great.
Yeah.
In ways it doesn't feel as good as because we moved away, so, our parents have to travel a lot to come and be with us. That part is still
That part is
always
still hurting.
tough for
Always, yeah.
for them especially, and then for us to be able to manage these things
Yes, yeah.
remotely and other ways. So that part, it doesn't feel as right. But definitely if you look at the future, then the kids are
Yes,
probably
yeah.
here. And I think every lot of families in India who themselves are not moving, but they would like their children to be here because
That
this is
is
supposed
true.
to be.
So that way we feel we are blessed at least.
We are blessed to be able
Yeah.
to kind of
Yeah.
be close to them as well as give them
Yes.
this opportunity.
Yes, yeah.
But it's a mixed feeling at the end of the day.
That's true. Yeah, that's so right. I think we all, immigrants, you would say, right? We all have similar feeling. You are happy in a way, at least you're close to your kids, but then you miss your parents. So it's a kind of, okay, where do we go? It's like I think that's what you said. Like half glass full is good. You're looking at the kids' perspective, and your parents can always visit you and enjoy the life that you have here, right? So that is nice. I think for everything, I guess you said like it was a challenge, obviously, to bring the kids, especially when they're not that young, they're not like toddlers, so their mind is already started developing, right? So transition needs parent support. Without that, and going to school, helping, volunteering, and making sure you both worked on it together, right? With the language and everything. I think kids more see parents doing, and they kind of learn, right?
Yeah, that's true. I think another challenge that we should probably, especially for Mira, when she restarted her career here, right, and then we had to do a lot more balancing acts, and she had to do a lot more work, both at home as well as at work.
Yes.
So that's one part which I feel like was probably quite tough for her.
Yeah, especially with the career and her own career and
Yeah.
with the little kid. Still little, I would say.
That's true.
Yeah. Teenagers and 6-year-old is pretty young. Like 10 and 6, right? Is that
Yeah.
so?
That would have been probably one of the toughest part.
Yeah,
Of your
because
experience here.
before this, all of my working life had been in India, where I had enough help. Right?
Enough
you
help,
just go
easy
out the
enough.
door and everything else
Yeah.
gets taken care of. Parents would be there. I had help. Plus, they were there to supervise everything. So I
Supervise.
was completely,
You could
stress-free,
focus on your career.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas here you have to make everything work, right? So
Yeah.
working hours are still there. You
Still
have
there, and the kids are
Yes,
at home.
so-
You still have to be
Yeah.
there. That they're.
Yeah.
Oh, that is nice.
So,
Yeah. So that's a good lesson, kind of, for young parents who move here, and that it is okay. You can figure it out as long as you work on as a kind of together as a team. So help them raise good kids. And all right. Thank you, Madhukar. Thank you, Veena. It's
Thanks.
great to
Thanks.
see you. Great to see you. And it's always great to see you.
Thank you.
If you wanna talk about anything at all, then you know who to call. Just tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana. Just tell Sanjana.